potentially do, or they could potentially run to make extra money to join with their salaries or their wages. So what we're going to be talking about is bringing ideas to life and actually turning them into viable businesses and making sure we can make money from there, because lots of people have been able to run businesses on the side while still working or studying, and they've been able to transition it to full-time businesses, and basically the business is responsible for their daily finances and they are fully reliant on their business. So having your own business or having your own side hustle, like some people like to call it, is a fantastic way to gaining financial independence. So what I would like to do now is to go through the room, and I just want everybody to just give me like a 30-second or a 1 minute business idea that they've thought of before, or they've actually done, or something they are thinking to do, or something they hope they can possibly do. So I'm going to call everybody's name. If I see you, I'll call you. So I'll start with Lady Gloria, if she's had any business ideas that she's thought of before, or anything she's just come across and she feels that, oh yes, this is a viable business that can bring money, or something I can run. It could be selling a product, it could be a service, it could be anything. There are different types of business. So no idea is a stupid idea. So I don't want anybody feeling shy that, oh, maybe my business idea might not sound smart or it might not sound interesting. No idea is bad. I've seen there's a show called Dragon's Den or Shark Tank. If you haven't seen it, you can watch it on YouTube. I've seen somebody make over £200,000 by sending letters on a potato. So they write birthday wishes on a potato and they send it to people. And this guy was able to make over $200,000 from sending potatoes as a business idea. So no idea is a bad idea. So the name of the show I just mentioned is called Shark Tank or Dragon's Den. If you go on YouTube, you find loads of episodes, and watching these videos, they sort of like stimulate your mind because you see very weird ideas that people turn into viable businesses. So Gloria, if you can kick off the idea session for us, please.
Thank you, Bumi. I have actually thought for once, but I've not implemented it. You made mention of service charges. So my particular service charge, I noticed I always encourage people to start up their business. And also when they are facing challenges, even though I'm not a pro in it, I manage to stabilize it. How? By how I communicate with them. So I feel that I can sell that so that's the service, because what I do is to encourage them, but I don't know how to put, as in make that into money. But I
Oh,
think that is viable. Yeah.
okay. Very interesting. Very interesting. So the main reason why you have been able to bring it into life is because you don't know how to turn it into money. Like, am I getting
Exactly.
crazy? Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. Um, I would ask Christopher, any business ideas? Thank you very much, Lady Gloria, for that. Christopher, any business ideas you've thought of? You're a university student, so I'm sure you've had loads of things that would just run through your mind and you'd be like, interesting.
Um, okay, for me, not currently, but I had one when I was in high school. During the vacations, I used to make popcorn and then sell. Yeah, but I
That,
think after that I didn't. When I went to university, I haven't done anything like that again.
so why not selling popcorn to the uni students?
I actually don't have time for that now.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's also a big problem that people face, time management when it comes to doing other things or setting up businesses. Emmy, do you have any ideas that you've thought of? Emmy, your mic is on mute.
Yes, actually, I thought of. Okay, yes, I'm unmuted. Actually, I thought of dealing in trading in essentials, foodstuffs. I
Okay.
think that's also a creative business to me.
Okay, that's good. Have you tried starting it before or you just thought about it?
No, I haven't started yet.
Okay. Is this something you would like to start?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. That's fantastic. Everyday essentials are a very good business. I can remember during COVID, when COVID came, the businesses that were making the most money at the time were essential businesses and businesses that were selling essential foodstuffs. The African store here in Loughborough, the owner is in Nigerian and he made so much money during that period. So selling essential items is a very good one. So let me look through the list. Who else would I call? Um, Esther. Esther, are you there? Esther Achampong. Is Esther there?
Hello. Sorry,
Yeah, Esther.
can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you very clearly.
Yeah. Well, it's not really a business idea that I can implement now, but when I was in primary school, I used to, I think I used to write notes for my friends who were feeling lazy to write their notes in
Mm.
class, and they would pay me. So there were two of us, because we had nice handwritings. We would write the notes for the guys, and then they would pay us. So I think it was interesting to do something and get someone to pay me. But as of now, I don't really have any business.
Okay, that's a very interesting business, and you might think is actually very small, but it's something you can actually turn to something big because I know SCV was starting something around transcribing, which was basically listening to people's voices and turning it into text. So that's quite similar to what you're saying, like helping people write notes because there's so many ways you can monetize that. But that's a very interesting one. So I'm just gonna call one more person. I would say, I could see Kamsi and Mimi, so I would say the two of them. So tag team. I would like a tag team of ideas. Kamsi and Mimi. Can you guys hear me? Hello, Kamsi. I can't seem to hear Kamsi and Mimi.
She unmuted, but I don't think her sound is coming
Yeah,
through.
yeah, it's not coming through. Okay, maybe they try again. John. John is a guest. John, could you tell us any business idea you've thought of or you've had previously?
Um, was it also something that you've done before?
Yeah.
Um, I've invested in NFTs and cryptocurrency technically.
Okay. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Very interesting. That's the trending thing now. So yeah, that was very good. It was interesting hearing your ideas. Actually, SCV, could you share us business ideas? Because SCV has millions and millions of ideas that she's mentioned to me. So if you can share one with us, SCV, one that you haven't done yet.
I don't know where you're getting these millions and billions ideas. So I can't think of anything.
She's a business guru. She's a
Like
business.
real estate, like buying property, refurbishing it, renting it out.
Mm,
What else? Uh, yeah, that's the first thing that probably comes to mind.
mm.
Yeah.
That's very good. I love that. You see, CV is the business guru, but I love everything everyone has said. Very fantastic ideas. So what I'm just gonna go through now is like very easy and basic steps that you could actually use to start your business. I'm not going to make it too academic so it doesn't get boring. But one of the biggest challenges that people always have is just having to go through that mental block of, oh, I can't do it, or it's just not viable, or I don't have the capacity to do it. Anybody can run any kind of business. You just need to have the mental capacity to believe that you can achieve it. So the first process would be, just when you have the idea, like just try and write it down. There's nothing bad in writing down your idea, no matter how small it is, even if it's just to, like, what I think it was Esther that said, like, just writing notes. It might sound like a very basic thing, but you never know. Writing the idea, there are steps that you have to take in even writing people's notes or even structuring things. So it's very important to write down your ideas, speak to people about it, ask for people's opinions, your friends and everything. Like, what's your opinion about this? I have this idea. Do you think it makes sense? Research online, try and check for which other companies are doing something similar to what you're doing. Is someone doing anything similar to what you're doing? So that can help you sort of like refine your idea and also give you more confidence and make you think towards things you're not thinking about. So if you go online now and you search for anything that is remotely similar to what you're thinking of, go through it, see what they've done, see what they've listed, and it would actually help you refine your idea. I could remember it was a message I was listening to, and it was Bishop Dag, and it was like, if you want to start a business, it's not bad to copy somebody and copying what they've done, as long as you can make it better and you can refine it to be better for you. And for myself personally, in every business I've done, I've always looked at the people ahead of me because they've made mistakes already, and I don't want to make those mistakes. So if I can see the pathway in which they followed, it's easier for me to save cost, minimize cost, and not make the same mistakes that they possibly made. And also, it helps me look at what they're doing and helps me spot errors in what they're doing and helps me to refine it. The next thing, which most people I've noticed have the biggest problem with, is identifying their target customers. When some people want to start business, they're like, yes, I have 100 family members, I have 20 friends, I have 30 family members that would buy this from me, that would use this service from me. Most times is not a very good idea to really hope on your family or friends. Like, when you're starting the business, you have to think as yourself, as the lone person in the business, and not hoping that, oh, SCV is my friend, SCV is going to buy so and so from me, and she's going to spend. That just leads to a lot of disappointment, and you might actually start getting angry with your friends and family. Like I can always speak from personal experience. Like, from every business I've started, I can count, like, with my hands, the amount of items like family members or friends have bought from me. And I can remember, like, when I was starting the business, I was thinking, oh yeah, I have 30 friends. Like, I know so many people on my Instagram. I have so many followers. Like, I just need to get 10 or 15 of them and I'm fine. And by the time it comes and you're sending out the messages, you're not getting a lot of feedback, you're not getting a lot of response, and that can always demotivate you to get to where you want to get to, because you believe that, oh, if my family is not supporting me, if my friends are not supporting me, who is not going to support me? Your best bet is actually people that don't know you. Those are the people that would actually value your business the most and actually purchase service from you. The next thing, and this is the part that people like to avoid the most, which is writing a business plan. Nobody wants to go through this process, and I don't understand why. And the reason is because business plan, like, when you hear it, it sounds like something very complicated. But there are templates which I would try to send out to everybody, that you just need, it's just a few words that you need to put to write your business plan. Your business plan doesn't have to be some overly complicated document or a PhD thesis or a research. It's not a research. Your business plan can be as simple as having your business name, your business idea, your target customers, how you want to generate revenue, and channels in which you want to sell. Just having that basic structure in terms of how you're writing your business plan can then now become a more complicated document. as you're planning and as you're starting. So writing the business plan is very important. Your business plan doesn't have to be 500 words. Your business plan can actually start from 50 words, which is, this is my business idea. This is how I plan to sell it. This is how I plan to run this service. So that's the thing. So I would advise everybody that has any ideas I'll make sure to send that template to you. So it has all the basics that you need, and it will sort of like help you structure your plan and have documentation. So by the time you start and things aren't really going as you expect, you can always fall back on that document, look at what is wrong, look at what's working, look at what's not working, and plan from there. When you don't have a document to fall back to, then you sort of like lose your structure. It's just as we have as Christians, like we rely on the Bible. The Bible is our business plan in terms of living on this earth. So when you're starting your own business, you need to have your own business plan, a book that you're going to fall back on and be like, yes, when I started this business, I planned to speak to market women in Nima in Ghana, but now you're speaking to your family members that are not buying anything. When initially you had a plan to speak to a certain demographic of people. So when you're running the business and you're seeing it's not working, at least you can go back to that document, go back to square one, and realize, yes, this is how I can actually do it. And the next thing I would say is just start. Like literally just start. Some people want to structure everything on this earth before they actually take that plan and actually start with their business. They're like, oh, yes, I need XX and X amount. I need to have done this amount of research. I need to have done this. I need to have done that. Just start. Like once you've gotten to a certain level, once you've written your business plan, once you have sufficient finances and you have just a tiny bit of structure, just start. Because at the end of the day, starting your own business is a big risk. If you're not willing to take that risk, then you're not going to start in the first place. Because no matter the X's and O's and all the I's that you've dotted, all the T's that you've crossed, within the first 2 or 3 days of starting that business, something would completely shock you that you would come across and you realize, I never planned for this. I never thought about this. So even if you plan for the next 10 years to sell bottled water, I promise you, within the next 3 days of actually starting the bottled water business, something that you haven't thought about for the last 10 years of planning is going to happen. It's just going to be something very weird. It will be just be something very, it could be like, oh, somebody sees the cap of the bottle and they're like, oh yeah, I don't like a blue cap, I like a red cap. And you're like, oh, I've done all the market research about colors and everything, and people like to respond to colors in a certain way. The thing is that everybody's different, so you can't plan for everybody. The best thing is to write your business plan and actually just start the business. Most people, they plan, they think and all, and they never get through to the process of actually starting a business. So I would say the best thing would be to just start. And the next thing would be to have a financial plan. A lot of people are not very good with planning their finances, and that's where it's very beneficial to speak to someone that has accounting knowledge or has an accounting background. And here in Life Beacon, I try to play that role. I try to support people through the enterprise department to plan finances, help you structure your business, help you structure your ideas. I think I've spoken enough. I think someone had their hand up. Did someone have a question? I think someone put up their hand. I don't know if it was by error or something. Oh yeah, Christopher, were you the one that put up your hand, or were you testing out something?
It was Wilson.
Okay, yeah, Wilson. Wilson, are you there? Is Wilson there?
Or it might have been a mistake.
Okay, that's fine. Antruby has a hand up. Antruby, do you have a question? What do you
I
want to
think
say?
that is
Gloria.
I don't know. I think it's just happening automatically.
Okay,
It's
it's just happening
strange.
No, it's
automatically.
Gloria.
Yeah.
It's
I don't
Gloria.
know why.
It's Gloria, please.
Okay. Okay, then it's Gloria.
Okay, that's
Okay,
fine.
so Gloria is
We
using
are
the
using the
same.
same link.
So
Okay,
okay, that's
Gloria, you
fine.
had your hand up.
Yeah, that's fine. At what point, thank you for giving us the five initial points for one to assess with
Yeah.
business ideas. At
Yeah.
what point would I know as the carrier of the idea that it won't work, that the idea I have is horrible, and probably I can do something about it, or go think of something new? Or and then the second question is, are all ideas good for businesses?
Yes.
I'm sorry, it came up because of the interesting things I heard you say. So, pardon
Yeah.
me.
No, 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 no. I think those are very great questions, and I would say for you to know that your business idea is not good is after you've done some market testing. So when you start your business, like I said, you plan, you write your business plan, and you actually just start. And when I mean just start is basically testing your idea or testing your product, meaning if you're selling a service, like find a demographic of people that you can sell to and target them, see how you can reach out to them, see how you can market it, see how you can share your idea. Then based on the reception you get, because you don't want to burn so much money, and it's after you've burnt millions of pounds or thousands of pounds, then you now realize this is a business idea. Starting your business is also a form of testing the market, because like I said, you can't get everything perfectly correct. You start the business, and from there you grow and you grow and you get bigger. So your business starts from like a small drop of water, then it can now go into a mighty ocean. So when you start your business as a small drop of water, where you're having one, two, three, four, five customers, and the reception you're getting from them is not very good, then you know the market is telling you something. The market is giving you feedback. Something you're doing is not working. Something you're planning is not working. Because if you're selling a service, for example, now, and you had five customers, and four out of those five customers have had problems with the service, and then you go and borrow money to make your service larger so that you could reach 100 more people, you know you're setting yourself for failure. But for example, now you start the business, and within those five people that you've been able to reach out to, you've had good reviews, everything has gone very well. Then you have more confidence to actually get bigger, and you're more willing to take more risk at that time, because then you have a proof of concept or a proof of idea. Um, Regarding your second question about every idea being good or bad, there could be bad ideas, but the thing is that there's no there's no greatness without madness. That's the thing. So there are a lot of people that have conquered so many things, and when they came up with their ideas, they sounded mad. They sounded like, oh yeah, this is not possible. Like when we think about the evolution of technology, like I think it was Tesla, for example, the original Tesla. He spoke about the idea of the mobile phone about, I think it was about 70, 80 years ago, and it was like in 80 years from now, like we're going to have devices that would make us speak to other people even though they are far away from us, and everybody thought it was crazy, like what is this person talking about? So ideas might sound very stupid at first, but they might end up being very good or smart ideas. So it might sound crazy at first, it might sound like it doesn't make sense, but always test out your idea. Never listen to one person that will discourage you, like, oh, this doesn't make sense, and then you shelve it or you throw it away. Try and test it out. If you have the conviction in your idea, test it out, put it out there, see if it works, see if it doesn't work. At least you know that you tested the concept and you tested out the idea. So I wouldn't say there's any bad idea until it's proven to be stupid, or until it's proven to be wrong. So to me, no idea is bad, no idea is wrong. I know. And just to note, I would make sure Lady SCV sends out the resources we have when it comes to writing out your business plan, because I feel that's the biggest stumbling block most people have in the ideation stage when they are trying to build their ideas or build their business. Is very important, and we're going to send out the resource. It's a very simple one-page PDF file, and it contains everything you need to know. So it's a business model framework, and I also would add a business template, business plan template as well. So make sure to send it. Are there any other questions that anybody would like to ask? Nana, did you raise up your hand, or was that an error?
No, I raised my hand. I wanted to say, to add to what you were saying, that I think an idea remains bad as long as you haven't found your target audience, like the proper target audience. Because if you look at all the things that are coming up and are being accepted now, you just have to find your right niche, you know. And when you found the people who this crazy idea works for, you realize that you found your market. And that is what makes maybe feasibility studies very crucial before you even start anything. Like, okay, I have this idea. What need would it support? Who are the people that might fancy this as a solution to? Because it might not be for everybody, but if you manage to find the people who might consider this craziness relevant to whatever lifestyle they have, then you would have found a ready market. And that even saves you in how you target your marketing, your outlook, your everything. So I think, like you said initially, identifying who your target group is, and then your feasibility studies, I think that would also help you to narrow things down, so you don't spread yourself out too thin trying to please everybody when it's just a small market that you should have targeted in the first place. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. That was very good. Any other questions? Any comments? Mimi and Kamzi, I'm still waiting for you guys to tell us your brilliant ideas. Is the mic working now? Mimi and Kamzi, you guys there?
Bumi, there's a question from Jonathan in the Q&A.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know you had a question. Jonathan, could you say your question, please?
Yeah, I asked, what's the best way to go about evaluating a business's strengths and weaknesses? Is it reviews? And also, I guess, when about, like, what stage of the business should you be thinking about that?
So I think in terms of the stage of the business, there are two stages that are very important, which is the idea stage. That's before you actually start the business, when you're doing like your feasibility studies and you're doing like a SWOT analysis on your businesses, like understanding the strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Is very important at the very beginning before you actually start trading, to understand. For example, now your strengths could be something your competitor is not doing, and the opportunity could be like a target market or a niche group that your competitors are also not reaching. So that could be an opportunity for you. And your biggest threat, for example, could be like the market you're going into. There's a player there that has a significant market share. So it's very important to do that in the idea stage or before you start your business. It can also be something part of your business plan. Is also a very big part of the business plan, understanding the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats of your business. And the second most important time would be when you're trying to scale the business, because you start the business at a certain level, then down the line, the business might be generating a significant amount of revenue, and you feel you can expand to bigger markets or to bigger service offerings or product offerings. So the two biggest stage would be at the beginning and when you plan to expand the business. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Hello, can anyone hear us?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Oh, hi guys. Sorry about the whole mic issue. This is Mimi talking, by the way. We had to switch over to Kamsi's laptop, so hopefully I'm glad that this is working. But a business idea I had was to basically put vending machines in students' accommodations because, I mean, as a student, a lot of people like just like snacking and don't want to have to like travel so far away to do that. So that was something I thought about, but I actually never executed it because, I didn't have a business plan, like Bumi said, and I didn't just plan my finances as well properly. So I was never able to execute it. But yeah, that was an idea I had.
Okay, that's good. And I would like to play like a pseudo situation. So, Mimi, for example, now you mentioned a very big opportunity that I like is students like snacking. So that's a very big target market for you. Students that like
Yeah.
snacking in the night. So, with that kind of business, what would you feel would be your biggest weakness if you're going to start that, or the biggest challenge you would face in starting that kind of business from what you just think? It doesn't
Yeah.
have to be just what you've thought about, like what would be like the biggest challenge?
I think first of all would be like obviously like I don't know if it's partnering with the accommodations or like the owners of the accommodation. So if we're looking at Loughborough students accommodations, like I would have to go through like Loughborough Student Union, go through that whole process. If we're looking at off-campus accommodations, then I would have to like speak to the landlords of these accommodations and these buildings, and that process can be a bit like tasking, but I think
Mhm.
that's a major problem. And then also for accommodations that don't have like security checks and key card checks and stuff, so I could have security problems like maintaining the vending machine. Like people could steal from me, they could just like break into the vending machine, and that could like also be a potential problem. But yeah.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I would have to leave for a bit. My fire alarm has gone off.
No problem. Flanny, are you there? Because I actually have a question for you. It was based on something you discussed in the last session to do with financial what's it called? Habit, like the way people the relationship with money. Um, Flanny, are you there?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so I wanted to ask, like, how do you think um your relationship with money can actually affect how you do business as well? Just based on like the different relationships that you actually talked about last time, even if you give a refresh as well for those that wasn't there.
So do you mean
Financial personalities, that's it, yeah. Reverend Anaya posted it.
so how our financial personalities can affect how we relate with money?
Know how like it affects how you do business. Um,
So
yeah.
depending on the country you're coming from, I think most countries would have similar regulations. Um, there's in terms of how you decide to register your business. If you're registering your business to start with, you could either register as a sole trader or a limited company. So for me, for the most part of when I registered my business, it was as a sole trader. Now, the danger in applying as a sole trader is that your finances are not legally separated from the business finances. So that's how you hear of people's businesses going in debt and their homes are taken away, because your personal finances are directly linked with the business finances. So if your financial personality is something that is like, you like spending money, for example, or you like enjoyment, I forgot the specific terms, but if it's something within those lines, and I know that I remember my personality was one of the enjoyment ones. Like I like enjoyment. So Lady Gloria, I can see you laughing. But like, yeah, it's if you're in that case of people, being a sole trader should be far away from what you should do, because no matter what, you will make money from the business and you'll find yourself spending the money from the business on a new bag or a new shoe rather than investing it back into the business. So I recently re-registered my business as a limited liability. Thank God. It's a huge achievement. I'm grateful to God for that. But being able to do that means that I actually am liable to the British government for my taxes. There's a whole lot more responsibilities I'm liable to. Can you still hear me? There's a fire alarm going
Yeah,
on. Okay. So I'm still liable to the British government for my taxes. Before, with the sole trader, you are liable, but the power is too much in your own hands, basically. So if you know your personal financial personality is, you know, you would just spend whatever liquidity you have on anything that is available, I would suggest go for limited liability. You don't need to have a whole team. The reason I delayed the process of registering my business as a limited liability is because I thought I needed so many documents, official documents, saying who's the shareholder, who's this, who's that. But you really don't. If you're in the UK, it's very simple. It literally took me less than an hour to register my business as a limited company. And once I got that, now I know my brain has automatically disciplined itself. Whatever money that is coming into my business is not mine, it is for the business. So if I'm making a decision, I'm making it as the founder of the business, not as Flanny. So it's automatically separated me from the business. But then if your business personality is someone who, you know, you're a go-getter, you know how to separate your finances, you're very disciplined, you're not looking to just buy bags and stuff, you have a huge plan and you're able to discipline yourself for your plan, being a sole trader would be an amazing way to start, because as a sole trader, you have so many more flexibilities. Since the business is tied in with your personal finances, there's a lot of things you can do. You can decide to put money from, you know, a part-time job you're doing, put it directly into the business. You can do it so easily and make it move. If you tell yourself, if in the terms of you putting that money into the business, you could tell yourself, I'm loaning the business £50 or 50 Ghana cedis. And so once the business makes back that 50 Ghana cedis, you can pay yourself back that money. But that's because you have that discipline and you have that money personality and you can maneuver around the finances in that way. But knowing my personal money personality, to be honest, I know that if I loan my business £50, either I will not pay myself back that £50, I will forget that I even loaned myself that £50 or the business that £50, or the £50 would be in the business and I'll be like, okay, you know what? If I look at all the emotional damage and every other like expenses I may have spent on the business relating to like finances, I would be like, you know, £50 is what I transferred to my business, but realistically, I think I spent £100 on this business. So I would pay myself back £100 from that business instead of what legally should be £50. So in terms of your personality with finances is so important with what you decide to do with your business, because you might end up either ripping your business off or ripping yourself off. So it's a bit of like a gray area, but I just use like the biggest extremes. So the personality I have and the personality of someone like Bumi, who's very disciplined and knows exactly what he wants to do with his finances. If you're in the middle ground, I think it's even harder for you. You need to look at your priorities, which is why whenever you're going into business, the biggest question before you even start the business, start looking at your personal budget, your personal life. Am I able to live up to my means? Am I comfortable? Am I okay? Because your business is like a baby. If you don't have children yet, a business is literally like a child that you're raising. It will squeeze and take every ounce of money and emotional anything, emotional energy that you have. So see a business literally like a whole life that you're bringing to this world. So if you know that you're not in that stage where you can afford to have another thing take a headache in your mind or take up space rent free in your mind, then give it some time. I always tell people, and every entrepreneur I work with, I tell them, please write down these ideas. They mention ideas and they think it's stupid. And I'm like, please, no, write it down. We might not be able to do this now, but one day you might be able to do this. So if you reach that conclusion where I'm not in that state where I can actually start a business, please don't give up. Write down all your ideas. I'm telling you, it's so important documenting your ideas and the things you have in mind. If you have an idea about, I'm going to use Jonathan's example with the popcorn. Jonathan, you were the one with the popcorn, right?
No, it's Chris.
Oh, who was? Okay, Chris. Chris was the one with the popcorn. I'll use Christopher's idea with the popcorn. If you don't have the time right now, but let's just use that as an example, right? You have an idea with popcorn. When you're writing down that idea, I'm just trying to explain the detail that you should put into it. Even though you know you're not doing this now, don't just write down popcorn idea. No. Be deliberate. Take your time. Feel free. Go all out. Write it out how you actually want the whole thing to look like. I want to have popcorn branches around the world where people can go and do bottomless popcorn. The way they do bottomless Coke and Fanta in different shops. I want them to go to the cinema and have the option of having bottomless popcorn. You'd be shocked that your target customers might not even be people watching movies. Because me, I like popcorn on a normal day as a snack. I would happily go into a cinema, buy popcorn, and go back home just because I like the taste. So you could literally write down all of your ideas, put it into detail. However much detail you have, write it down and keep it somewhere. We live in a day and age where having things on just your laptop is not safe. Keep it on a cloud. Write it on your Google Drive. If you use Teams, put it on your OneDrive. Make sure it's on a drive and it's backed up. Because one day, when the finances are there and the time that you have is there, you can actually try and do that business. So this is just to say in terms of the financial personalities, if you find yourself in the middle and you don't think you can actually implement it, that's not bad news for you. There's nothing wrong with being able to write your dreams and they can potentially come true. Just write them down. So don't just give up on them. But yeah, I don't know if I've answered your question, CV.
Yeah, I actually have another one based on what you said. So if you feel like someone else has a question. Okay, let me ask this quickly. If you feel like you are a very bad spender, like your financial personality, like you like to have fun, do you think it would be better to have somebody else like help you manage the finances of the business, or what's your opinion on that?
I would say to some extent that is useful, but like if I was to use my personal life as an example, because I am literally that profile you're describing, I think learning self-discipline is so important. And I think we live in the world where quick results and giving up is like a new trend. In fact, it's really been glamorized. Like, I don't want a hard life, I want a soft life. That's just me. But I genuinely think that being able to challenge yourself to do things that you're not normally able to do is so empowering in itself. Like, I've been able to do things recently with my finances that I didn't think I had reached that point where I was like, you know what, I beg, it's soft life. I'm not even going to bother myself again. This is not my headache. It's okay, whatever. This is my nature. But then in September, I've been able to do things that I was like, let me just give it a try. And once I was able to do it, the fulfilling feeling of it alone can empower you to do more. And so I would say that, like, yes, getting someone to support you in your finances is always important. Most businesses have accountants, they have auditors, they have people that do things externally. So it is a crucial part of your business. But I'm trying to say, in terms of the small business, individual level, the very, very baby steps, I don't think you should just give up and be like, somebody else should just deal with this for me. I think you should challenge yourself. Don't challenge yourself with big, unrealistic goals. It could be something as small as this month, I'm saving £10, 10 Ghana cedis towards my business idea that I'm doing in 2030. Like, it doesn't have to be like, cut yourself some slack, but start with baby steps, because at the end of the day, it's drops in the ocean. Like, it's literally drops that make the ocean when you think about it. A whole sea of water that can destroy people, floods. It has so much power, but it's literally droplets. H2O when you come down to the molecule. And so it's tiny things that have such a huge impact. And so when you think of it that way, it gives you so much more self-motivation. Every day, try and do something new. Try and challenge yourself with something new. You can do it on a daily basis, on a weekly basis. And like I said, if you're not fine financially, personally, you can't be fine financially with your business. So start with your personal finances. If you want to be able to save up for a trip or save up for a new phone, or save up for new headphones or anything, it could a bicycle, anything. Save up. If you want to save up 10 CDs by the end of the month, give yourself that goal. I'm saving 50p every day. And you'd be shocked. It sounds so stupid when you start it, but when you're able to do that first day, you're like, oh my gosh, I actually didn't spend this 50p on this buffet, or like, I think buffets are way more expensive than 50p now, but like, but let's just say it was still 50p, 50 pesos. Let's say it was still 50 pesos. You feel so good by just saving that money, because when you're in faced with the temptation to spend the money, you remember that, okay, no, I have a goal. I have something I'm trying to achieve right now. This week, I am not spending this extra 50p. Because when I think of it, the buffet is not good for my health. And the 50p the 50 pesos is taken from my cash. So it's not good for my health. It's also not good for my bank account. So realistically, what am I doing here? So you help yourself reason. You give yourself reason in that moment, and you don't make the bad decision. And that alone is enough to carry you into a whole new type of mindset. So I would say start with the little things, little by little. Try and improve yourself. Don't like literally fight it. We're in that generation where we have to fight it to follow the status quo. Right now, the status quo is life is easy. I don't have to struggle. I can be however I want to be, and the world just has to accept me. But I believe in being able to challenge yourself is not for the world, but it's just for self-improvement. We've been created by God to be creative, to be innovative, to keep upgrading, to keep becoming better versions of ourselves. So just being happy to be like average is not good enough. And it's not for the wrong reason where you're trying to impress others, but it's simply for the purpose that you know you're here on this earth for, to keep improving, to keep advancing. And that advancement is it makes a huge difference. No matter how big it is or small it is, you've still advanced. So give yourself some credit. Allow yourself to set some small goals. Start little by little, and you'll be shocked that you could achieve so many milestones in just the space of 1 week, 1 month, 6 months, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. And then you'd be the one literally giving a talk to people like this and be like, guys, literally, this thing actually works. Starting with the small goals actually works. Like, so don't take it lightly. Like I've seen it happen in my life practically this month, and it's literally just this month. It's not like it's happened for my whole life. This is literally something I've seen in just this month. It's a testimony I'm giving you guys, and how it actually works. Putting in time. And before I wrap it up, the concept of like, I've been referring to financial stuff, so saving 50p, for example, but this could apply to anything else. It could apply to just your time. It could apply to just your time. How much time you want to spend on social media? How much time you want to spend thinking about your life, thinking about advancing your life? How much time you want to spend on spending time with God? You could be struggling in so many areas, but this concept applies with every single area. Like if you're struggling with your faith, you could literally spend, even if it's 5 minutes to meditate, open your Bible, open your holy book and spend time with God. 5 minutes a day for a week. The next week, you'll be able to do 10 minutes. After that, you can do 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 1 hour. And so don't just take, like, this is a transferable skill. That's my point. Like, you'd be advancing yourself in not just your finances, but try and apply it in every other part of your life, because it really does work. Being intentional about it and putting in that effort, but baby steps. Baby steps. Please. Baby steps are important. Please.
Thank you, Fanny, for that. I think we had somebody who wanted to ask a question. So before we wrap up, does anyone have a question they want to ask?
Yes, I do. So thank you. I'm learning a lot. This question is not for me, but I've been asked to ask indirectly. I have a business, and my business is going well. How do I, um, and I want to expand. So how do I get into the international market? Suppose it, I have not just the means, but I have the chance to explore the international market. The second question has to do with customer service. How well do I work on my customer service on the products that I sell?
Okay. Bumi or Flani?
I'm here. So, Lady Gloria, please, could you repeat the first question? I know you said it was expanding towards international countries, but I just wanted to understand clearly.
So I this person has the business running. There's an opportunity to step into the international market, but that is the first time. How well should I prepare myself to step into that opportunity? Should I link the person to you, or it's something you want to address now, unless you want more? Um, um, Unless you want to hear everything related to it, which I don't have. The
Okay.
second question has to do with customer service.
Mhm.
Businesses run on the wings of customers or the potential buyers. And we know how customers could be, customers are not always nice. Yet,
Mhm. Mhm.
the one who had brought the business into the market always needs to be smiling and be nice to customers.
Mhm.
How can I be helped to strengthen my customer service skill as an entrepreneur?
Okay. With the first question, which is expanding to
Yes.
an international country or going to, the most important aspect is the legal part, because that's where you'd face the biggest challenge. Like, what are the legal requirements for the country you're going in? Like, what is required? For example, as a Nigerian, if I'm going to go to Ghana to set up a business, I think I have to have a Ghanaian on the board. So is understanding that and having legal advice. I would say that's the first thing. Legal advice doesn't have to be expensive. If you're well connected, or if you know somebody within that space or within that country, they can also give you advice. And someone also running business within that area too is also very important. Speaking to other entrepreneurs that are actively in that area, that have foot on the ground, because a lot of people can sell you dreams. Oh, we can set this up here, we can do this here, but they are completely clueless regarding what you should do. And the second thing would be to understand the consumer personality of people in those countries. For example, now, consumer behavior. I'm sure Auntie Ruby will probably be able to explain this. There's something called ethnocentrism, where people are more willing to purchase goods from people from a similar ethnic background or a similar background. So all of those things can be in play in the country you're trying to expand your business to. So understanding that dynamic is very important, on understanding the target market. Like, for example, the way I would market to a Nigerian is different from how I would market to a British person. I could even give you a practical example. In Nigeria, there's something called over promise and under deliver. So Nigerians want to hear big promises. If you're selling in Nigeria, do not tell them, oh, I think this phone would be able to last 6 hours. Nigerians want to hear it will last 36 hours. Even if it's not going to last that 36, tell them, yes, this phone will last 36 hours. This phone will take you to the moon. Once they hear those big promises, their head is already open and they are more willing to buy. I'm telling you, this is active research that I've done. It's just a consumer. I don't know what it is, but Nigerians are more willing to go to the person that over promises. But in the UK, if you go and overpromise, like they'll start looking at you as a snake oil salesman. Like, why are you saying all these things? Like, tell them exactly what they're going to get, and just make sure that they get that. You understand? So understanding the dynamics is good, and having somebody on ground that sort of understands that thing, not somebody that's just done business research or has gone to university to do masters in business. All of those things don't matter in the real world. The real world, you need people that are on ground, their feet is on ground, and they're doing those things. They've interacted with those people, they understand what those people are, and they understand what those people want. So it's very important having someone there that is an entrepreneur or a business owner and having very good legal advice so you don't get into trouble. And the second question is customer service. Customer service is very important, and it's something I personally have had to learn the hard way. The customer is always right. Sadly, even though we have very annoying customers and we have customers that really don't care about your business, you still have to be nice to them. You still have to give them very good service. So the best way would be to separate yourself from the business and put yourself in the customer's shoes. If I was the customer receiving this service that my business is giving and I'm receiving that service as myself, how would I react? So if you put yourself in the customer's shoes, he makes you more sympathetic and more it makes you have more empathy to understand where they might be coming from. There are some customers that might just want to take the mick out of you and might just want to cheat you. Those kind of situations, you find how to handle it. But doing business as itself is extremely difficult, and having very good customer service is the biggest difficulty you have in business, and is something businesses even up until this day are trying to hack. So having customer service, the best way to go about it is putting yourself in the customer's shoes and giving them the service you expect yourself to receive. So in that way, you're able to treat them better and listen to their concerns, and don't always look at the customer as your enemy. They are your friend. They can always help you get more sales. They can always help you link yourself to people. And I've realized personally that the customers that have been able to give the best customer service have been the ones that have done the most referral for me. Like, they're even helping me as if I'm paying them. So they are so excited about the service they've gotten, and they are willing to share the message. But one thing, you're not Jesus Christ. People will still be upset with you. People will still hate your service. No matter, even if you do everything perfectly, people will still find a way to say you gave them a very bad service. So it's very important not to beat yourself up for it. And genuinely, as an entrepreneur, in your heart of hearts, you would know, or you would perceive that the service you've given, you'll be able to have a very good gauge of it. Not every time, but most times you'll have a very good gauge if you've given an okay service, an average service, or a good service. You can tell from the body language of the consumers. You can, if you're not seeing them physically, you can tell from their tone, you can tell from the reviews they give you how good your customer service is. But you can't punish yourself for having one or two customers that are not happy with the service. As long as that is not the norm, there are always outliers in every situation. So yeah, I hope that answers the
Thank
question.
you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Bumi. And I think that will be all for Bumi's session. We thank you so much for taking us through this. I also thank all those who gave us their ideas and also their contributions. Thank you so much for making the first part of this family social very interactive. I will now pass it on to Flani. She will take us through the Connect team training and also the Amazon Smart Reminder.
Can you hear me? And can you
Yes.
Can you also see me? Hello?
Your camera's on, but it's black, so.
Sorry, let me just try. What about now?
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to take a second to just show you guys a video. But before I jump into the video, it's just an overall training video on how to use the Connect Team app. Giving you context, let me just try and browse the room to see. Okay, so some of you may have heard of this, some of you might not have. Currently, Life Beacon is using an app called Connect Team. And the Connect Team app is used for us to track the number of hours our volunteers spend on different type of tasks, different types of activities. It's very important for us to know, just so we can kind of decipher, how much time we really do spend every day, as a collective, in terms of like different responsibilities. And it will also help us know exactly like if we need to reprioritize on how much time our volunteers are spending on different activities, if we need more time on one type of activity as compared to another. So just for you to know, it's a very important part of your role to help us track how much time you spend working on Life Beacon related tasks. So I'll go into exactly what the different ways you can record your entries. But Connect Team is basically a project management / human resource app, which just helps companies, small businesses, charities track how much time people within that organization are spending on different tasks and helping us manage it. So just so you know, it's not just a just by the way type of thing. It's a very crucial thing. Please do pay attention to it. The way that you'd be onboarded onto it, if you're already onboarded, I would have sent you a text message via the Connect Team app. And then in the text message, it would just tell you to download the app with the link. Once you download the app with the link, you would put in your phone number. So you log into the app with your phone number. No matter which country you're from, it doesn't matter. You would log in, and once you log in, you'd be able to start using the app on a day-to-day basis. So the video I'm going to show you is just a general training video that I had done some months ago, and we'll try and circulate this again around to everyone via your coordinators so that you can have it on your phone and you can always access it and rewatch it if you're ever having any difficulties. And then if you have any further difficulties, you can always like contact public engagement at lifebeacon.org, or you can tell your coordinator and then they would liaise with myself and then we'll try and support you in that process. So first things first, I will share the video, and after that I will go into a bit more detail on the ways you can record your time. So let me know if you can see my screen. See, I don't think I have the permission to share my screen.
We should do. Okay, 1 second. Okay, try it now.
Okay. Okay, yeah, it's here. Perfect. Thank you. And just let me know if you can hear the audio from the video and You can see a
Yeah, we can see.
Quick training session on how to
And then we
use.
can hear.
Hello, this is a quick training session on how to use Connect Team on your phone in order to track your hours and time invested in Life Beacon. So the app will be on your phone and you would just press it and it will open like this. As you can see, it's going to greet you. In the process of you logging into the account and creating the account, you will have the opportunity to put your full name and your picture as well. So that's how it's going to be displayed upon opening the app. So at the bottom part of the page, you have your feed on the left, your assets, your notifications, and your profile. The main thing you're going to be using is in the feed, but I will show you what the other sites look like. On the feed, you may get some announcements from us on here sometimes, and some things if we want to communicate to you, you will be able to see it here as well. In the assets place, you will have access to a directory, the time clock, and your job scheduling. In the directory, you will see other people who are in Life Beacon that you can contact. You can simply press on the person, you can call them, text them, or email them. That's if you, this is maybe like the only way you can contact them, because now we have WhatsApp and we also have our Teams channel. So this is just an added place that you could try contacting people as well. The time clock, I will explain what it is. You can access it through here or through the feed as well. And then you have the notifications here. It may notify you when we have other people who've joined on this application, and you just have just regular updates in terms of any posts that have been made or anything specific to you. And then in your profile, you will have the opportunity to see your activities, your personal information, your settings, and you can log out as well. So back to the feed. The key place that you'll be using, as you can see, you can also have access to your time clock, your direction, your job scheduling here as well. Your key tool will be the time clock, which I'm pressing now. On the time clock, there's two ways that you can track or put in a certain amount of time you spent on a certain task. So if it was a task that you were doing now, for example, currently I'm doing a task, I'm recording a training session on how to use this app. So I can press start. And here you can see these are the different types of jobs which all of us have in Life Beacon. When I say jobs, I'm referring to if you've been given a responsibility, it may be relevant in one of these places. So it could either be a one-on-one session with a customer being volunteer or an external person. Perhaps the word customer might be changed after, but the one-on-one option just relates to anything that you did that was like a one-on-one session, basically. Content development, data, and research refers to anything from creating videos, social media posts, or conducting research for your department, or something that your coordinator has asked you to implement, or anything that is within this area. You would select that this is the type of job you're doing. LBI education projects, that's a whole section of its own because there's a lot of them. So back to school would go under this, getting ready for university would go in there, mentoring would go under there. The LSU action projects will also go under education. Also, any seminars that we have that are education related would also go in that section. And then self-development refers to anything that you may have done within your department, which has helped you in your own self-development. So trainings and team alignment. This could also refer, like for coordinators, this could refer to maybe leadership as well. So if you have done anything for your coordinators, for your volunteers, this would also be a good place to choose because even though you're helping them develop, you are also developing yourself in the process. So self-development kind of also refers to general development. And then the final option is well-being, counseling, and faith projects. So this is where anything mental health related, relationships, faith, events, posts, projects, anything that you've done that has to do with this, you can also put in that this is where you're doing that. So this specific thing I'm doing now, which is a training session, is under content development and data research. So that's what I'm going to select. So as you can see, it started timing my task. So ideally, you would just start the task and then you might not be doing this on your phone. So you just put your phone up and just go into your task. And when you're done, you come back onto the app and then you press end shift at the bottom. As you can see, you can also add some notes here. I would put here, this is just for me recording the training session for how to use Connect Team. Okay, so yeah, so this is a little notes that I've put on here. Here it shows, you know, what I've been up to throughout the day as well. Well, throughout the past minutes. And you can also come onto the bottom right where it says timesheet, and you're going to see all the other um, things that you would have logged. Um, by the way, it's written paid breaks. This app is for actual organizations which pay their staff, but as we're an NGO, we don't pay. This app is not being used to pay you, but is used for us to like track the hours that we all put in terms of us being able to eventually figure out how much energy is put in different aspects of the organization. And this can also help us know where we need to put in more effort or where we can reduce the effort because maybe it's not as relevant, and just for us to have better insights as to how Life Beacon functions in general. So the hours are the main thing that we need that you use per project. So on the timesheet, as you can see at the top, there is the word timesheet, and then you can see a calendar date, and it says from 22nd December 2021 to the 5th of January 2022. You can change these dates according to what you want. So I can go as far back as October 2020, which is when Life Beacon started. And this starts, so the most recent dates are at the top and the latest dates are at the bottom. So I can go all the way down and you'd see on here that we're currently here. This is 25th October 2020. So you can come as far back as this to see how many hours you spent on certain things. This obviously I had to come back and input this myself later, which is why it's here right now. And then once you're able to put in this past date up until now, you can see that below where it says overall totals in the orange area, it tells you regular, over, total, and absence. So this tells you the number of hours that you've done, how many regular hours you've done, how many hours you've done overtime, and what the total is. How this is calculated is the regular hours are the normal 9 to 5 hours. We don't do 9 to 5 anyway, but then this has been preset by the app just for us to also know like when in a day people actually end up doing full-time work hours technically. And this is useful for us in the future as well. So that's why here you can see the regular hours that have been done is this many, and then the times overtime is any time that has been between like 5 p.m. to 9 a.m. So out of office hours that you've done, and maybe hours that you've done that have exceeded 40 hours per week. So this is how you can use this tool. So I'm just going to come here at the very end to end the shift. So I'm going to go back for now. I want to show you the second way that you can input a shift. You can do so by coming into the assets and going to your time clock. It's literally to bring you to the exact same place, and you press timesheet. And this is something you would have seen before. You press the day that you're looking for, and then you press this option of at the very bottom which says add a new request, and then you add a shift request, and it's the same process as you can see here. You select the time. This here, this specific option is if you're trying to log hours that you've potentially already done. So you can come here and edit them, look for specific days in the past, and then specific times as well, as you can see here. And then you can cancel it or you can submit it. Additionally, for example, this current shift that I'm on, I can also come onto it and I can edit the shift, even though I've, okay, it says I can try and edit this shift, but it says you can't edit ongoing shifts. Please clock out and try again. So then I would go back onto my here, and then I would end the shift, and then I would edit the shift, and then I can be like, wait, no, I've actually done this since the 4th at 11 p.m. So that can update. So, and then you can save the changes and that's logged in for you. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this app, but once again, just emphasizing the main way to use it is the time clock. That's the main thing we need out here. And of course, if you also want to communicate to other people in Life Beacon across teams, you can do so through the directory. If you feel that in the past before being shared this app, if you feel that you've had to do the certain times you've had to spend a lot of time on doing something for Life Beacon, I would appreciate for you to kindly put in that into the timesheet, even if it's if it's a past date, even if it was in 2021, even if it was in May. Of course, we appreciate that you might not know the exact time that you did it or the exact day, but I'm sure you would know the period. So if, let's say, you did something and it was sometime in May, but you're not sure exactly when, you can just try and figure out if it was for a specific project, for example, and you know that the project was, you know, the exact day of the project. By checking your emails or our social media posts, you can find the exact day easily. And then you can just go to days probably leading up to that project, and you can select a random day, and then you can just put the approximate amount of hours you believe you spent on that. Obviously, we're trying to be as authentic as possible, so please do not exaggerate the hours or undermine the hours. So just try and think of them like in the most honest way that you think you would have spent on working on something. And if you're having doubts on which type of job to select, as a reminder, the jobs are these parts that pop up here. If you're not sure on which job to select, just ask your coordinator or send me a message on the app. I'm Flanny, and I will be able to ask you a few questions on what you're trying to log, and I can advise you on what to put. You can find me here in the users. You'll see my number and you can call me.
Okay, so that was a very detailed way of using the app. I hope it was helpful. I know it was quite fast. So if you do find or encounter any difficulties along the way, like I said in the video, feel free to message me either on the app. You can find my number on the app and you can add me on WhatsApp and message me on WhatsApp, or you can send public.engagement@lifebeacon.org an email, and I will get back to you on how you can log your specific query. So what I wanted to add, if I have some extra time to just quickly put that in, we have some updated jobs. So the jobs from that video were the previous jobs we had, but now our jobs have updated. So I will just share my screen once more and show you what the current jobs look like. So can you see my screen? Just to be sure.
Yeah.
Okay. So the current jobs we have that you can log, content development is still on there at the top. That's still relating to creating flyers, the monthly notice, anything that has to do with creating content actively for Life Beacon. The second one is self or team development. Self-development relates to you working on training sessions. This session, for example, is a social, but at the same time, it was a form of training. So it relates to your self-development. So you would log it into this specific job. If it relates to prayer sessions, those are also self-development because you're praying for your personal life, your personal spiritual life, and they're also part of self-development. So you can log those into the self-development job. We've now added more jobs which relate to more specific parts of Life Beacon. So the Getting Ready for University project is a very specific one with the mentoring department, but you might have supported in any other capacity. So if you feel this relates to you, you could log into the Getting Ready for University project. We also now have the well-being projects, which relate to working with the Rotary mental health awareness projects or any other upcoming projects. We still have the same one-on-one sessions with beneficiaries or volunteers. So this applies to coordinators and volunteers. If you're working with somebody one-on-one, even if it's a phone call you're making with someone who could be a potential new Life Beacon volunteer, this counts as a one-on-one session because you're speaking to them one-on-one and explaining to them how they can volunteer or how they can benefit from Life Beacon. Volunteer management, this is more for the coordinators. This is relating to anything that you're doing that has to do with volunteers. So recruitment, inductions, quarterly assessments or appraisals, anything in that arena is under volunteer management. External stakeholder management is very specific to coordinators as well. This is with regards to when you're working on your projects and you're working with external partners and all the time that you spend in liaising with them. Knowledge management is also very niche. For the general volunteers, you might not really use this specific job, but if you're doing anything that has to do with knowledge sharing, so if you end up, preparing a PowerPoint or preparing a way to share some knowledge you've learned with the general community in Life Beacon, it would have to do with knowledge management. Knowledge management also relates to things relating to you being able to collect data and share the data with the relevant departments. Event planning is a key one, especially for volunteers who work within departments and are given the responsibility to, plan different events. So in this scenario with working on this social, CV and Christopher, you've worked hard on this social, so you've planned the event. This would be one of the jobs that you would select if you're trying to log into Connect Teams, the amount of hours that you've worked on it. Back to school project, that's the project that we do whenever we go into different communities in various underprivileged areas in the world to give them various key school essential donations. We're currently crowdfunding for that project, by the way. We're hoping to go in Togo in November. So this is going to be a very important one. Whoever is in Ghana that plans on coming, this is what you would log those hours as. Whoever has been working for the past year on making this project happen, whenever you're logging the hours for those times, this would be the job you would select. As you can see, team alignment has been separated from team development. This is because the team alignment purely relates to only the stuff that has to do with you having dedicated times that you have meetings with your team. So coordinators, when you're having meeting with your teams, this is the job you would put. For volunteers, if you're having a team meeting with your coordinator, this is what you would select because it's a team alignment moment where you're strategizing and figuring out what to do next. Research and data management, this is specifically for research and development department, but if you do anything that comes around data, research, and finding out insights on how Life Beacon can progress, this would be one for you. Outreach events is also a very general one. This is also relating to any other type of outreach events that we have. So the Mom and Child Project is one of them. Just giving you a heads up, some of these jobs may not appear on your specific Connect team. This is only because it might only be for coordinators. So don't worry, you won't get confused. When you see it, you'll know exactly which one to select. But coordinators, you will see all of these ones on here. So outreach events would be for volunteers specifically who are working in general on some outreach events. And the faith-based projects are specifically for faith-based departments, anything that has to do with faith-related events, outreach, content development, anything in that area would come down to faith-based projects. So this is just what I wanted to update you guys on, that your jobs on Connecting would look slightly different, but this is how you can maneuver around it. But if you find any difficulties in figuring out which one to select and which one to go for, just feel free to contact me or your coordinator, and I'm sure they can give you which of the jobs is most appropriate for you. I'm done. I've gone over time, but sorry about that. Back to you, Asivi and Christopher.
Thank you so much, Lenny. I think it's worth it. So we just have to deal with it. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
So we'll now take some few words from our chair.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, CV and Chris, for organizing this event. I'm really impressed, Chris, for doing this. Well done.
Thank you.
Bumi, thank you. I've actually learned a lot. You know, as most of us are students here, and we always write for our audience. We always write for our lecturers to read. So, when you think of a business plan, it's about I'm writing this business plan for maybe somebody who is interested, or somebody who will sponsor the business plan, or somebody, or maybe I want a loan or something. You don't think about it as writing this business plan for myself so that I can refer to it like I refer to the Bible, like you said. So one thing that I have actually learned from here is documentation, writing things down, writing for yourself, not for somebody. You're actually writing it for yourself. So business plan, in fact, is one of the things that um I have taken on board to write for ourselves and to refer to it, and not necessarily for somebody else. I think when we think about writing for somebody else, that's when we think that it's a big like thing to put together, and it's actually push us away from doing it, taking the step to do it. But I think that now that we know that it's for ourselves, so even if there are mistakes in it, it is for ourselves to always refer to it. So we don't have to make it look perfect, but with time, we can improve it as we are moving on with the business. One thing that you also mentioned is talking to people. I know that is one of the biggest challenges, because usually we are scared of sharing our ideas because we think somebody will steal our fantastic idea, but really it's only fantastic in your head. It is until you share it with somebody that's when you realize, oh, maybe you should have, somebody would just say something about it and would actually help you to think about it and not be too emotional about your business idea when you're talking to somebody, because the person might say something that will just make you just get disappointed and feel like I'm not going to do anything about it again. It's not a good idea, like Lady Gloria mentioned, but it is important to ask and talk to people about your idea without putting so much emotions in it. And that would like Bumi said, it is extremely important to ask people, not your mother or your father, because definitely they love you so much that they can't tell you that this is your idea. I think no, you should talk to other people, not people who would not be able to tell you the truth, um as Bumi mentioned. So thank you so much, Bumi. And Flanny, thank you so much for um sharing your idea on the personality stuff and how it relates to um our business, our expected business that we want to do. That was very like informative. And thank you so much for also taking us through the connecting is extremely important. It would help us to, like Fanny has already mentioned, we really need to know how. It's not like we are trying to monitor you. Don't think about it in that sense. We just want to know what amount of time is needed for every project, so that we would be able to, it will help us to realign the way we do our things to be more efficient. So if Chris, how long did it take you to actually put this program together? So next time when Chris is not around and we want Jonathan to take up this role, Jonathan has it at the back of his mind that this is the number of mm, minutes, or this is the number of hours it will take for me to do this project. So when we are asking Jonathan to do this project, you can tell Jonathan it's going to take you 3 hours. So just plan and use 3 hours to do this project. It is possible he might use less or more, but at least he has a good idea of how long it's going to take him to do it. So he's accepting to take this role with an expectation, but not in a blank um like thoughts. So these are the reasons why it would help us to become more efficient in the way we go about our activities in life baking. So it is not about monitoring anybody, or it is more about the project and how long it takes to complete a project, and being able to transfer our skills to other people. So when we, like for instance, now we have other volunteers in Ghana, new volunteers in Ghana, we should be able to transfer these things to them and get them to do it better than we did last year. And these are the ways that we can be able to do it. So thank you all very much. And I hope that we would all be able to get this up. And because we've actually invested into it, we've actually paid for it. So we should use it. We should use it to help us, all of us, to be more efficient and do better and be able to transfer our skills. We are volunteering because we want to have an impact. So really, you want to be able to impact somebody by just even sharing your knowledge with the person, how you did what you did is very key. So thank you very much. I'll hand over back to Chris. And before we leave, please, I want to have a short meeting with all coordinators for 15 minutes. So as Chris gets us to close, we'll just wait and have that meeting. Thank you.
So thank you so much, Ruby. And so I believe you've already said that we've made investment for this and all other live baking training sessions or programs. So we should try as much as possible to make sure that it counts. Yeah. Okay. So thank you so much. And then bye for now.
Reach out to your life